Hey y'all! So today we're going to be completing a Kento Nanami, a Miss Nanami look. So stay tuned for that. We're going to give a moment of appreciation for the skin, how it's cleared, the hair, how it's done. This is not a wig. If it were a wig, I would be wearing a wig. Alright, so first and foremost, prime. I'm using this new one from Wet n Wild. It doesn't smell, and it has a very silicone-y texture. However, it is not silicone filled. It says right on the bottle, it says no silicone. So I was surprised. It's very thin, kind of drying, a little bit tacky. I did have to use a ton to get over my face, so I don't know. If you have more oily skin, I'd say this is better for you. But like if you want to use it in your T-zone, it's probably best too. It's probably gonna go in my travel bag, to be honest. And it didn't smell like super crazy. It wasn't strong. Alright, and then my e.l.f. poreless primer going in my T-zone, right in my nose. I got huge pores. And then we're gonna do eyebrows first. So I'm taking this precision brush by NYX, or precision pencil by NYX. I don't have a pomade in my natural eyebrow color, which is kind of shocking, but also not, I guess. I don't ever do my eyebrows like super crazy on a normal daily basis. I did order one since though, so if you have a pomade, use a pomade. But if you don't, be like me and use a pencil or whatever you have available. And I am drawing these very straight and slightly angled up. And I'm going to take a bit of brow gel. This is from Anastasia Beverly Hills clear brow gel. Use a dirty brush. I promise you it works better. I don't know why. I never clean this thing. And then I push them straight up, my eyebrows straight up. So the way that I drew them on, I know where my tails are. You do what works for your eyebrows. And I'm going in while it's drying with a eyelid primer. Just dabbing it on. Do what works for your eyebrows. Mine, I know, will cooperate with me on this. Because again, my eyebrows are tattooed. And so I draw them a little higher and boom, we're fine. I do put primer under my eyes. Sorry, going back and forth here. I do put primer under my eyes just because I crease quite a bit and I was rather tired. This is what I do for conventions. I'm trying to start doing techniques that I actually use like in hotel rooms for 14, 15-hour days. Now that my gel is pretty much dried, I'm going with an eyebrow pencil. Again, I would usually use the pomade and then not have to worry about texture, but because they are two different textures, the pencil and my eyebrows, I want them to match, be a little bit more cohesive. So I'm going in with a little brown eyebrow liner, I suppose, eyebrow pen. I got this off Temu or something. Honestly, it's whatever. It's a felt tip brown eyeliner essentially. But I'm just feathering, using the tip, making little hair strokes, and then full coverage concealer. I use this one. It's by Same, S-A-E-M, I want to say. And then I dip it perpendicularly with the little paddle brush. And then that way I get an exact precision on where my eyebrows are going to line up. And then carve out the top, just like 2016. I don't know why I gave myself that look there, but alright, girly. Then I make this little mask of concealer across my eyebrows. And then feather out the edges so they're not super hard to work with later. And then taking this brown palette, going in with a bone color. Getting rid of the creasing. And then just setting my eyes all over. And in this case, I'm going to be really focusing on the inner and outer corners. Because I know I'm going to extend my eye shape, I'm going to extend where I place the eyeshadow, because we also extended our eyebrows. At least I did. You do what you want. So going all the way out should create like a little triangle. If you want to connect the lines to know where your eyebrow should stop, just follow from the edge of your nose to the edge of your eyeball and then right up. And then going with a little bit of a deeper shaded brown, I'm going to start creating the illusion of depth within my eye. Because I have very fatty eyelids, I need to kind of create this, especially with male characters. I try to. However, work with what you got. And also, this is a literal covered up by sunglasses look, so give yourself a little bit of grace. Now with hooded eyes, what I do is I rest my brush on my lid, and then wherever the tip falls, that's where I create my crease. So, I don't know if it's not easy to explain, but I kind of come at it from the bottom instead of straight on, if that makes any sense. And then I extend that out. And I'm really working in my crease, just again to create that depth. Let it blend, and then I go in the corner, the inner corner. Both sides, do the same to both sides, obvi. And then with the deepest shade in this palette, which I'd say is like a dark contour shade, that's what I'm going to use to kind of buff out and create a little bit more of a flare, I suppose, in this look. So I'll be concentrating in the same places where I put the contour and then on the outer third of my eyelid, but focusing more so in precise areas. So lid, crease, inner corner, instead of buffing. So again, right in the crease. And for the crease, I come at it more perpendicularly than parallel to my face, if that makes any sense with the brush. And then inner corner. Then I went in with these two golds, taking the lighter shade. I'll link everything below per usual. I started lining along my lash line on the inner corner, bringing the lighter shade only to about, I'd say, the first half of my eye. And when I got about 2/4 of the way there, no, that's half, hang on, 1/4 of the way there, or 1/3 of the way there, that's when I use my finger just to blend it out. Bring it as far as I'd like. And then I go in with my eyeliner. I have dual-ended eyeliner. I recommend something more thin. Now, I went in with a thinner liner this time because I knew I wanted more, not dainty lashes, but they're just smaller in general than what I usually use. And then the trick with this eyeliner, because Nanami has more of like a tired eye look, is to keep it level. That's the only way I can really describe it. So in my case, because I have really big round eyes, I had to make it thinner on the inner corner, or thicker on the inner corner, and then thicker on the end where the wing is, but thinner in the middle. That way it creates the illusion of, again, more of a droopy, sleepy look, even though I'm wide awake, obviously. Like, I'm not relaxing my eyes in any of the pictures, but it still creates the effect. So again, thicker on the inner corner. Now, I'm a detail-oriented person. You could totally just do a regular eyeliner, especially because he's got sunglasses on, but, pop off. So, my right eye in this case is more wide. This one's a little bit more relaxed. You can see it if you compare side by side. Then I'm just cleaning up my eyeliner, which takes forever and a day because it doesn't matter how many times I do it. I just can't. I also have hooded eyelids too, which, a whole new technique, a whole nother technique is needed, which kind of stinks. But it is what it is. You get what you get. And then right there, boom, ruined my night. I hate sparkles. I hate sparkles everywhere. I like when they're only in certain places. And this just, I wiped it with my sparkle hand, and then I got it everywhere on my cheek. Drives me nuts. And then with the deeper shade, that one, maybe I wouldn't recommend if you have hooded lids like I do, but if you have quote unquote regular eyelids, definitely try this. This is actually a really cool effect. Just lining along the top edge of your eyeliner, and it creates this really pretty effect. It's quite striking. But because, of course, I was quote unquote blessed with hooded eyelids, it wasn't working the way I wanted it to. She wasn't doing what I wanted her to, so I just ended up, I say deleting, like Control Z. Q-tips are my Control Z, my undo button. Just took it off. And then I decided to just go in with like a regular gold shimmer shade, a couple of gold shimmer shades. And I go in with my finger. Fingers are very important when it comes to shimmers, only because that is how you're going to get the most potency out of them, I'd say, without having to add any extra product or like layer. Because you're literally just, I don't know, applying it with your finger, which rubs it right in. I don't know how to explain it. It just makes sense. If you get it, you got it. If you don't, oh well, it okay. Then going back in and perfecting my eyeliner again, because again, I had to take off that bib before. And also because we have, even if you do the double line, like black eyeliner and then shimmer on top, go in again and just clean up what you can to keep that separation really clean, that line really clean. Especially if you have a mattifying eyeliner, the contrast is really nice. But again, go work with what I got, and this is what I got. I'm going in with a little bit of black eyeshadow just to mattify it again, because there were some stray sparkles from the product being applied incorrectly. And then my trusty Misha Cushion Foundation. We love her. She has SPF, by the way. She's very well loved. She's a little crusty, but she's trusty. She has SPF in her, which is really great for conventions. And the mirror, I don't use it, but if I were to, I would. Like if I was at a convention and I forgot my little portable mirror, I didn't have a bathroom that I could get to, i.e. my boyfriend is blowing it up. It's really resourceful. And then just pat all over. Also, if you have yellow undertones, this is a really nice foundation. I have more yellow undertones. I also have rosacea though, and this covers it up. It's medium coverage. And then just going back in, I'm fixing my patchiness from that Q-tip mishap. And cleaning up my eyebrows because I got concealer in them, so I waited for it to dry. Just fill in the patchwork, and then brightening. Taking a very light, this one has a little pinky undertone concealer. By the same brand, Same, I think, SAEM. And then applying in those spots just to bring lightness, because I want this to be a high contrast look. And then because this is a masculine look, I'm also applying it on my jawline. Blend, 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 blend. Blend it off camera. And then I had a little accident right in the middle of my forehead. It was like a little patchy, and I think it's from this moisturizer I use. I don't know what it does. It doesn't wash off that great, so I think it was causing the makeup to separate, but I wanted to keep this clip in just to show you, I tried using Fix It, which sometimes works before you set your base. But in this case, it wasn't working. So then I just ended up wiping it off. Don't use your finger like I did. Use an actual tissue or paper towel, because that grit is going to be what kind of exfoliates the skin if it's a skin problem. And then I'm applying the most pressure where the problem was, and I'm lifting pressure as I swipe. That way it's not a harsh line. It's much easier to work with. And again, look how red I am. Boom, covered up. I love this foundation so much. If you're on a budget and you prefer a liquid one, it would be Maybelline Fit Me. That's been my trusty go-to for literally ever. I don't think I've used anything else besides like Charlotte Tilbury, which if you're going to conventions, babe, you can't afford Charlotte Tilbury. Then blend, blend, blend. The sponge had a little bit of Fix It on it too. It just worked really great. So again, in Fix It we trust. And then I'm taking this contour palette. It's more of a bronzer palette if you ask me. They pull a lot warmer than cooler. And then I'm going in with the 2 lighter shades. And I put a lot on. I know what works for me. Start small. If you don't know, if you're too scared, just like, you can always add more. You can't take off. You know? I made my nose teeny weeny, little button nose, jawline, cheeks. Now I took it on my cheeks quite low, where the natural hollows kind of follow, and then I connected it under my chin. That's more of a masculine vibe, well, Midwestern accent popping through. And then my forehead. I follow where the arch in my eyebrow kind of leads, and that's where the shadow for me goes. So like if you see the tail, kind of following where it goes. And then very important, if you do your jaw, do it behind the jaw. That way it pops out. The shadow is casted. Otherwise the illusion is lost. Found out the hard way. Guys, I have a confession. Back in like high school, I used to just put a line underneath my jaw and not blend it. I remember one of my buds was like, dude, that looks awful. And it was like dark, 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 dark brown too, because I didn't understand, like, it's not a shadow that's cast in that way. It needs to be blended. Oh, it was dark times. It was very dark times. And then anyway, I used whatever was left on that foundation brush, one on the left, and I blended that along my chin, underneath my double chin, I suppose. And then with this other brush, I live and breathe and die by this brush. This goes with me when I go to conventions, and if I don't have it, I literally have a bad day. Like, my morning is not going well. She's just wonderful. She blends out any cream product so beautifully. If you choose to use a beauty blender, just make sure you're keeping the product where you placed it. That's a very important thing in this case. And then I'm bringing it on my cheek if I have excess. Excess. And then again, my natural hollows in my cheeks, I know that they go right there, where the bones are not. So again, keep the product, very important. Keep the product where you placed it. You can always buff out the edges later. You want the main concentration to be where we placed it. Then bring it on my cheeks. I think I was saying that earlier. If I have extra, and it creates this like bronzy effect, kind of blends it. And to keep it where you placed it, I know I'm emphasizing this a lot, but to keep it, pat, don't swipe. Pat the product. Tap, 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 tap. Not swipe, swipe, swipe. Swiping stresses me out because then you get streaks and the patchiness and it lifts up product. It's just not a good time, especially if you have dry skin. It's just not it. And then blend into your hairline for the love of God. This is a fresh bleach from me, by the way, and I got a Scandinavian hairline. I am blending into my hairline. It just, my baby hairs are bleached, to clarify. And then kimchi. If you don't have kimchi, or like a pressed or a baking powder that you like, you can just use baby powder. That's what I bring to conventions because it absorbs all my sweat, the oils throughout the day. It wears really well. But for photo shoots, I use this. And then bake, bake, bake under the eye, jawline. Basically wherever we put the brightener, the brightening concealer. And then chin. And then I'm blending those edges where the powder is. That way it's not super patchy. And then forehead, forehead, forehead. And nose. Before you put on your powder, definitely get rid of any creases. I think I did that already, but I was rambling. I was yapping. I get creases under my eyes, and then think that's it, actually. If I'm smiling or talking while I'm doing this, it's usually around my mouth, too. Okay, and then I have a triangle beauty blender, or powder puff, so use the edge to create a sharper line for your jaw. Word to the wise. And then blend out again. You don't want patchiness in your contour. And again, I get smile lines, so big, big, big. So going in with these, I know I said I'm not going in with as thick eyelashes, but for me, these are not as big. And then they're quite pretty, but they weren't giving me what I wanted. They weren't like as matte as I like to, so I went in with mascara. Sometimes eyelashes can look very synthetic because they're often synthetic. So just going with like a coat of mascara or eyeshadow if you have it and don't have mascara. And then on this little pencil brush, I was getting some dark brown and putting it under my eye. And it can be messy because you're going to blend it out in a second. Or I'm going to. We're doing it together, so. So because we baked, I was using my finger because I know that it won't like peel off the powder. But I go in with a brush too. I had patchiness right there again. I think it's from my moisturizer. I've also been getting dry patches just randomly, which is so fun. And then blending with a bigger brush and a lighter shade of brown to create those hollow eyes that Nanami has from being overworked, overtired. And then this very nude blush. Not pink, not peach, not purple. Just nude. It's literally called nude. Just to kind of marry the brightness and then the contour together. That way it's not as harsh. Just kind of all over. I'm also using it to wipe away my bake. Again, when I go to convention, I don't bring like a million brushes. So I'm trying to consolidate my routines on here to match my routines IRL in real life. And then bottom mascara. I can't do it worth a shit with a normal brush, so I bought this little mini bottom mascara. I like it. It's pretty good. Very waterproof. And then taking a nude liner, overlining my lips. I chose to keep my Cupid's bow today, my natural Cupid's bow. You do what works for you. I definitely perceive Nanami as being like an office siren vibe, if you're familiar with that makeup trend. So, I don't know. I tried to keep it to that, but also like Katified. And then I took my roller out from my hair, my curtain bangs, again, freshly cut. They were being a little difficult. And then we had it. Oh, stunning. Oh, we were just feeling it. We were so good. Beautiful, gorgeous. I did put a highlight on my nose and my cheeks. I don't think I kept that clip in. So do that. And then accessorize by covering up your all the work we just did. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I try to post, semi-daily. And yeah, thank you for watching. Goodbye.